the FIA European Truck Racing Championship this weekend at Slovakia Ring, where 5 Germans, Steffen Faas,
ready to beat the chrome class.
Jochen Hahn,
Now it's time to look forward, to go in the free practices and make no errors, to beat Norbert Kiss and to be in the front.
Steffi Halm, André Kursim,
Hi, I'm André Kursim and now we are here ready to race.
and Sascha Lenz. And there will be 4 British competitors, starting with John Newell, Mark Taylor,
I'm ready to fight.
and Luke Garrett. Our 2 very experienced Spanish drivers, Luis Recuenco and Antonio Albacete.
Qué calor hace aquí en Eslovaquia.
And one very first Portuguese driver, José Eduardo Rodriguez. And our Hungarian champion, Norbert Kiss.
Let's go, ready to fight.
And one team that is ready to broadcast all qualifyings and all races. So bear with us, this is gonna be a wild weekend. We are just about to get started for qualifying number 1 on the Saturday, and we are here at Slovakia Ring. It's a very cozy racetrack. I like it a lot. Everyone is very close to each other, so it's very easy to say hi and just hang out and just see how people are doing, because there have been some trucks that just got fixed last minute for this weekend, still having some damages from race weekend number 1 in Italy. And of course we have one guy who is cool as ice, Mr. Norbert Kiss, who really killed it in Italy. And let's see how the story goes over here. All the free practices went very well for him, so let's see who's gonna be the number 1 for this weekend. Okay, you did quite well catching up and going into the front. Are you confident for the race later on at 1 p.m.?
You know, the temperature here, it's really hot and it's really hard for the tires, so find the correct setup now for 8 laps. It's not so easy, but we will see it racing, and we see us after the checkered flag. You know?
Yeah, we have a new rubber mix on the tires because they will be performing better in the rain, which we hopefully will not have over here this time. I think it's more going to be the hot races. So see you later on. I introduce Aditya Patel, former Indian race car driver himself, now working for the FIA, and presenting quite a very interesting event that will take place in autumn in Valencia. It's called the FIA Motorsport Games. And big news, this is going to be the first year that also we will have a truck in the race. So maybe you can explain a little bit what it means to go and watch the FIA Motorsport Games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for us, it's super exciting to be welcoming the truck racing to the games. We've expanded now and we have 27 disciplines. So, of course, we'll have drivers from so many countries in various disciplines. And I think that's what makes the FIA Motorsport Games so unique, is that in one place, in one venue, you've got trucks, you've got race cars, you've got rallying, you've got go-karting. So it's an entire festival in the city. And you can imagine when you've got well over 70 countries at the FIA Games, giving drivers an opportunity to represent their country. It is a unique event. It's one of a kind.
The first race of the weekend started off in familiar fashion with Norbert Kiss and Jochen Hahn on the front row of the grid. Antonio Albacete and Sascha Lenz once again fighting over the second row after qualifying 3. Down towards the first corner, Jochen Hahn gave Norby a good run for his money, but the Hungarian would hold on true and firm once again at the front of the pack. There was great shenanigans in the middle of the field though. A little bit of contact with André Kursim and Steffen Faas had knocked both of them down a position or 2, and Steffi Halm took advantage, trying to go through into the top 5. The battles then continued on for the top of the Chrome class, as José Eduardo Rodriguez had lost ground in the opening lap as well. He now wanted to get back in front of Steffen Faas and take maximum points from the first race. Andre Kurzim, who had also lost places in the first couple of corners, was then trying to get back past Steffi Halm, the two of them seemingly together all of the time on the circuit, and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez had got the job done over Stefan Faas and tried to move away as John Newell closed in on the pairing for his first podium of the season. Kurzim was charging on and keeping his eye on the mirrors because the bright yellow MAN was closing in behind them. The Chrome Championship leader Jose Eduardo Rodriguez doing an amazing job. Andre's urgency was very clear though, as he wanted to get past Steffi Halm and gain extra points. The first race of each day, more important points-wise, as more was on the table. But Norbert Kish once again streaked away at the front of the pack. There was a slight chink in the armour during qualifying 1 as Jochen Hahn had out-qualified him, but from there on he had shown that the pace had not disappeared or gone anywhere. The Inter-Iveco battle continued on into turn 8 until Steffi Halm made a slight mistake and lost ground to Andre Kurzim. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez capitalising as well, but wouldn't gain any extra points for his overall position. It just cemented his class win even further over Stefan Faas. That's not to say that Steffi didn't try to come back at him though. Steffi always a fighter, wanting to gain that extra place back before the end of the race. But Norbert Kish took the first race victory of the weekend ahead of Jochen Hahn, with the gap getting bigger and bigger all of the time. The German still trying to do what he could to hold on to that second place in the championship. Sascha Lenz was in the background as well, hoping to try and catch up with Jochen in case anything would go awry, but all of them drove really solid, sturdy races, as we would expect from such experienced drivers. Norby reigned supreme though, opening up a huge gap once again in front of a lot of fans that had come over from Hungary to Slovakia, a short trip across the border to go and see their man take the checkered flag. A great way to start out the weekend in the sunshine of Slovakia, and Norby and the fans were both very happy with the result. In the Chrome class, it was Jose Eduardo Rodriguez taking the victory from Stefan Faas and John Newell, another great podium for all three drivers. A very happy Norbert Kish recuperated with his team in what set out to be another excellent weekend.
Many fans of Norbert all around the track, so this must be a special nice win, like having so many fans around.
Oh yes, there is a lot of fans. I see a lot of red T-shirts, you know, on the grandstand. So yeah, it's always a pleasure to race here in Slovakia, and you know, also because we like the circuit, we can go fast on the circuit, you know, and win races. So I'm really happy.
So Norbert Kish comes away with the first race victory of the weekend and extends his championship lead to 20 points over Jochen Hahn. Antonio Albacete and Sascha Lenz were now only 2 points apart on 47 and 45 apiece, with Steffi Halm ahead of Andre Kurzim in 5th and 6th positions. Stefan Faas still had a slim lead at the top of the Chrome standings, but Jose Eduardo Rodriguez was on the charge, with Mark Taylor and John Newell close behind, tied on points in fact with Louis Requenco.
Welcome back to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, race weekend number 2 and race number 2 for the first day at the Slovakia ring. And it's of course reverse grid, and who is starting out from 8th position because he just won the first race? Of course it's Norbert Kish, the man I really like to call Pac-Man, because he kind of eats places and spaces and always seems to end up first. So let's see how this race goes.
As Lena rightly mentioned, Norbert Kish would have a lot of work to do from the 4th row of the grid, alongside Jochen Hahn, with Stefan Faas starting at the front of the field. His 8th place in the first race had earned him pole position, but a poor start meant that he was swallowed up by the pack, and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez would get in front for the Chrome class lead, while Steffi Halm took the overall and Titan lead of the race. The battle started on again at the rear end of the field, Luke Garrett fighting with Louis Requenco for the later positions, while Norbert Kish did his usual, piling on the pressure to everybody in front and making moves in the opening stages. By the end of the first couple of laps, he was already ahead of Antonio Albacete and Jochen Hahn, and soon turned his attentions to Andre Kurzim. Jochen Hahn was making his own moves as well, getting past Stefan Faas a couple of laps in. The two Germans, though, giving each other absolutely minimal room on the circuit. Great entertainment for everybody watching. There had been a little bit of a knock for Antonio Albacete as well, and he dropped a few places and was struggling for pace. Definitely not the case for Norbert Kish with this gorgeous cutback manoeuvre on Andre Kurzim round turn 13, a move that we'd seen him pull off just a year before. The horns and the fanfare sounded though from the grandstands as Norby continued to charge forward. Sascha Lenz was the next target, trying to get past Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Steffi Halm was defending brilliantly at the front of the pack, but eventually Norby would pile on more and more pressure to get through into this top trio. Luke Garrett unfortunately being demoted to the sidelines after another engine failure for the number 42. While Sascha tried to make moves on Jose Eduardo, Norby capitalised on the run down to turn 9, and he too would gain an extra place, getting into the overall podium spots, second place in the Titan class. Andre Kurzim was soon in the mix as well, in 5th position, hoping to claim more places at the expense of others. All the battling had brought everybody to him. Norbert Kish had soon got past Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, making a clean move down the inside into turn 2, and Sascha Lenz was next up, trying to get past the Portuguese driver. He would find it hard to make an opening though, as Norbert Kish disappeared over the horizon to chase down Steffi Halm. Steffi defended valiantly as ever, hoping to take her first win in the series in a couple of years, but Norby was relentless and almost inevitable as he moved down the inside into turn 8, a move again that we'd seen him do plenty of times before. The confidence and capability of the truck was seemingly there, and Norby knew exactly where to put it and when, defending to then get away from Steffi in the final laps. Sascha Lenz had eventually got past Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and then he too would try and get past Steffi Halm to take second place overall in the race. He was all over the back of the Iveco, but once again, Steffi defended brilliantly. Behind as well, there was more Ivecos in the mix, as Andre Kurzim and Jochen Hahn tried to take a piece of the action for themselves. With Norbert disappearing over the horizon once more, it was then down to these guys to have a good scrap, and the quintet was really entertaining right to the checkered flag. Sascha Lenz was having a look here and there, but it wasn't enough to take second place from Steffi Halm, with Norbert Kish taking back-to-back victories once again here at the Slovakia ring. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez took another victory in the Chrome class, continuing his championship charge and now closing in to tie on points with Stefan Faas.
You really did a good job defending yourself.
Yeah, it was really hard defending. Normally from the beginning it was very difficult. At the moment we didn't find the right setup for me, for my driving style, and that's why I have to fight so hard. And for me it would be much nicer to be a little bit faster, but I'm really happy with the second place. I tried not to fight with Norby because I thought it's too many laps and I will not keep him behind me. So I let him pass and tried to lose not too much time so that Sascha didn't get a chance to attack me.
A great effort by Steffi Halm in that second race of the weekend sees her championship charge take some decent points to the board. Norbert Kish now on 90 points from Jochen Hahn's 66. Sascha Lenz 1 point ahead of Antonio Albacete, with those two reigniting the fight from 2023. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, as mentioned, now ties Stefan Faas on 75 points, opening up a decent gap over the likes of Mark Taylor, John Newell and Louis Requenco.
sponsors are of course super important when it comes to racing, and you are one of the best in the field over here when it comes to presentation and welcoming people, as we're just seeing in the background.
Ja, wir haben dieses Wochenende
Yes, so
Gäste
this
von
weekend we have
Manfilter da.
guests from
Manfilter
Manfilter. They are our sponsors since last year, and this year they started to send their employees and guests from different countries to the races. And for us, this is very important, because our sport is getting recognition, and we want to show the sponsors and guests what we are doing here, and also that truck racing is a completely family-friendly event. Therefore, the guests can go right in front of the truck, see it and touch it, and this is very interesting to them, because they can get closer than in other forms of motorsport.
Auch mal alles anfassen dürfen, was auch wirklich interessant ist für die Leute, weil sie von weitem immer nur reinschauen, natürlich nicht das Gleiche ist, wie wenn ich da wirklich mittendrin bin, ja.
We already heard yesterday that the tarmac is quite higher eating, but someone who has done a good job for now at qualifying is Sasha. He's on 3rd place for now, and obviously 3 is your lucky number, no?
I don't know, but yeah, we have a good lap. We are P3, but for now it doesn't matter. Why? Now it's the time to drive on P3 or P2 or P1.
Once again, Norbert Kish had dominated qualifying and took pole position from Jochen Hahn. But Andre Kurzim and Sasha Lenz had both had their best qualifying of the season, lining up 3rd and 4th respectively. Antonio Albacete had started the race in 5th place, and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez had started from the front of the Chrome class. Overnight technical issues for Stefan Fass, though, had put him towards the back of the order, and it seemed that at the start of the race they hadn't got rid of the problem, and he was slow coming out of turn 1. He eventually got back up to speed though and caught back up with the pack, so everybody had their fingers crossed that he could continue to move forward. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez had a small buffer in the Chrome class, with Steffi Halm behind him, just in front of his nearest rival, Mark Taylor. Sasha Lenz was under pressure from Antonio Albacete, who'd managed to get past Andre Kurzim at the start of the race, but the whole field stayed relatively close together for the opening laps. That was until Luke Garrett lost all steering and went straight on down at turn 6. The team having a really bad luck weekend so far, and hoping for more as they turned it round into the 4th race. Once again, Steffi Halm, on her birthday in fact, found herself right in the middle of all the scraps. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez was leading the Chrome class with Mark Taylor in 2nd, and Steffi was stuck in the middle. There was dust and smoke being kicked up all over the place at the Slovakia ring, a theme from a couple of years ago, but this time nowhere near as much of a problem. Sasha Lenz had pushed hard on the tyres in the opening parts of the race to try and stay with Jochen Hahn, and that had really bitten him in the backside as Antonio Albacete tried to catch up and make a move in the later stages of the race. It was a great chase with a little bit of bumping and boring here and there, but great entertainment from both of the drivers, really experienced competitors of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It was nail-biting stuff towards the end as Antonio Albacete closed in, and Andre Kurzim jumped on the scene as well. He'd had great pace over the start of Sunday and was willing to show it off. Norbert Kish took the win from Jochen Hahn, with Sasha Lenz just about holding on to 3rd ahead of Antonio and Andre in the end, with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez taking another win in the Chrome class. Another fantastic start to the day for Norby and Reves Racing though.
The feeling was not good, but we made a step forward definitely, and now the feeling is also good and the speed is there. So yeah, really happy with the victory.
And now we will have reverse grid, so for you it means more tactical driving and more fighting again.
Yeah, you know, reverse grid is always exciting. You never know what happens, but yeah, we will be there, you know, look for opportunities and try to take some.
Take opportunities indeed they will. Norbert Kish still flying at the top of the championship on 110 points to Jochen Hahn's 81. Sasha Lenz and Antonio Albacete continuing their fight. Steffi Halm still ahead of Andre Kurzim, but Andre closing in after a few more points from the 3rd race of the weekend. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez remains top of the championship and extends his gap over the non-finishing Stefan Fass, while Mark Taylor holds on to 3rd.
I'm glad I'm finally getting British driving and it's sold out from all the fans from Norbert Kiss. I hope you will be able to bring some more from the UK soon, so you will have the same sound once you're back on the podium.
Well, we'll have plenty of people coming to Nürburgring because everybody's looking forward to it. But today has been a good change round for the weekend. So we started off bad yesterday, but now we're picking a pace up through the weekend.
Yeah, I think it's a nice feeling to take a trophy back home, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. It brings all the team up and everybody, and it shows that everybody who's working hard, it all pays off.
Mark Taylor would start from pole position for the first time this season with Steffi Halm alongside, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Andrei Kurzin making a very exciting second row of the grid. Steffi would once again try and go from the outside into the lead, but it was Andrei that had dropped down the order after making a bit of a mistake in a 3-wide situation and ending up in the gravel. Norbert Kiss straight away was on the charge, getting past Jochen Hahn in the first couple of corners, and only half a lap in was going from 8th up to 6th. Mark Taylor was defending valiantly at the front of the order, with Steffi Halm trying to put him under pressure on her birthday. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez would once again want to try and take away the Chrome class lead. Behind them, Sasha Lenz and Antonio Albacetti were next in the queue. That was until Norby disposed of them. Antonio, his teammate, was overtaken at turn 8, and then a couple of laps later, down into turn 9, Norby got the move done on Sasha as well. He then made it a quartet for the race lead, with Mark Taylor still holding on at the front. The British driver hadn't had many chances to prove himself right at the sharp end of the order, but this one had come at a great time. Norby once again tried to send around the outside of turn 10, showing everybody that there were different racing lines around the Slovakia ring. This time it worked, and into turn 11 it was a beautiful move down the inside that really got the crowd roaring. Once again, Steffi would have to pull out all of the defensive manoeuvres to hold back the reigning champion, and the top three were glued to each other down into turn 8. Norby got the move done though, and would soon fill the mirrors of Mark Taylor, hoping to take the overall race lead and dispose of the Chrome class leader. The whole field was remaining really close together though, so the battles were fraught all the way through, and Antonio Albacetti was trying his very best to get past Sasha Lenz. All eyes were on Norby though, as he went for the overall race lead. Jochen Hahn was struggling to make progress, stuck behind Antonio Albacetti, and he could only watch as Sasha Lenz tried to get amongst the top 4. Norby's move eventually came once again down at turn 8. A heavy braking zone was always his prime overtaking place. Steffi Halm was now under pressure once again, with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in the mix, especially as Sasha Lenz got amongst it. But Norbert Kiss completed another Grand Slam at the Slovakia ring, an incredible achievement, doing it back-to-back after Misano, and the same goes for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. All 4 race victories in one weekend for him, after Mark Taylor had contact and dropped down the order, unfortunately. Incredible achievement once again though for Norbert Kiss, and he and Reves Racing were once again looking absolutely unstoppable.
How do you do it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, for sure, good teamwork. I mean, on the technical side, for sure, we're doing a good job. So big thank you for the team, Reves Racing. And, also, I try to do a good job, and not to make a mistake, not to be, impatient or whatever, because we have a pace advantage, and then if we can make use of it, then we can make such good results.
An incredible weekend for Norby and the team once more, and they leave the second race meeting of the championship with maximum points, 120 on the board before we go to the next round in Belgium. And it looks like it's going to be a big old task for anybody to stop them. Jochen Hahn lines up second with 87 points. Sasha Lenz opens up a gap over Antonio Albacetti, and Steffi Halm now closes in on the Spanish driver from 5th position after taking second place on her birthday. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez goes to Belgium with a big lead in the Chrome Championship ahead of Stefan Faas and Mark Taylor, while the others all try to play catch-up on the twisty confines of Zolder. It's been another frantic and busy weekend in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and we look forward to doing it all again in 2 weeks in Belgium.